All right, this hangout on air is live. It is on air. What's up, everybody? Attack of the Androids. Join us every Wednesday now. Attackoftheandroids.com/live. Got an IRC room and all that fun stuff. So, hang out in there and talk to us while we're doing the show. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now, here's the intro.
For centuries, we've been warned about little green men. Now, they're coming. They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the Android.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, July 22nd, 2015. This is episode 163 of Tag the Androids. Every week, Wednesday evening now. TagTheAndroids.com. Check it out. I'm Matt Lee. That's Eric Finkenbeiner. What's up, Eric?
Not much, Matt. Just basking in the warm glow of Android news.
It is a warm, radiant glow indeed. A lot of Android news to cover today. Also joining us, help us cover all that stuff, Joey Kelly from Maine, where apparently kids can just buy e-cigs. What's up, Joey?
Okay, there's your pre-show reference that no one's ever going to get. Things are good up here in the Pine Tree State. It's actually been a very warm day today, almost 80 degrees. And apparently it's almost as warm as it is in Matt's house, where he's apparently on the face of the sun.
It feels that bright. I'll tell you what, it's hard being a star when the sun shines. Let's start things off. Sony's Android concept. Who's excited about Sony phones still? Anyone? Does anyone rage on Sony phones?
They're decent. They're nice phones. I see them around every once in a while, but they don't seem like exceptionally popular.
The one I really always remembered seeing was the one that had the controller, like the slide-out controller. Other than that, I haven't really seen very many.
Remember the one that had the light bar in it? That was kind of popular for like a split second.
My pink Vio had the light bar in it. Very exciting.
I don't know. I think I seem to see Samsungs. I see a lot of Samsungs, a lot of LGs on the low end, and a mix of Motorola's. I don't recall ever seeing anybody with a Sony phone. It may just be because I didn't notice. It's possible.
I have actually been seeing more Droid Turbos and Moto X first and second gens lately, just among people I know, which is interesting. I don't know if they're just like copying the phone I got or they just went with that choice. Because like Joey said, usually normal people have the Samsungs, and I guess LGs.
Yeah. Well, the LGs are generally cheaper, so you see those on like your prepaids.
Sure.
There's a huge prepaid movement up here. People that just don't want to buy into a contract, so they get whatever cheap burner phone is being offered at Walmart.
Those are good phones, especially if you need a bunch of burner phones for cheap. Sony says the goal is to develop new software from the ground up, meaning no additional Google Play apps like YouTube on the test build, just the core Google communication software and, of course, Sony's stack of custom apps like Camera and Music and Xperia Lounge. Was that like Tinder? Like, I'm going to go hang out in the Xperia Lounge and troll some tail?
Yeah, pretty much.
I see you have a Sony. I also have a Sony. Let's bump.
Pretty virtual girls come up and sit next to you at the bar.
Virtually. Never happens in the real world. Weird.
Well, folks, here we go. In 2015, Sony has introduced Leisure Suit Larry for the Android. Congratulations.
It's best paired with the Oculus Rift. So
it seems odd that they would strip out the Google apps. I mean, I know it's just for the testing phase, but I mean, if they're really trying to develop sort of like their new experience, probably something similar to Motorola, where it's skin but not skin, sort of has a few extra features. It seems odd that you would strip out the thing that people probably use on a daily basis and that you probably want to make sure that you're not interfering with. One other interesting thing, because I was thinking back to previous shows, I think we talked about this back towards the beginning of the year that Sony's not really doing that well in the smartphone business, um, in that they were expected to report a loss in the billions um, for fiscal year 2014. So
So
I
we're
mean
looking at a
this.
possible spin-off of a division, maybe, or be picked up by another name.
Uh, Maybe it sounded like Sony when asked about it, the CEO said that they needed to stay in the smartphone market um, to maintain other business relationships, and then they also wanted to make sure that they still had their foot in the door for like mobile technology, so that way they could pair it with their other electronic offerings. So it could be that this is a section of their business that's just going to be
Marginal.
operating at a loss.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, I mean, for me, I don't think about Sony as a technology company when I go and make a decision based upon brand. I mean, they offer laptops, they offer gaming consoles, the PS whatever series. They offer all these different electronics, TVs and whatnot. But I don't think of Sony as a brand when I go, oh, I've got to get the new XYZ brand thing. It just doesn't occur to me. I don't know why.
No, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, I think of them. I have I'm staring at a Sony Bravia TV on my wall. I have another Sony TV in my other room. Sony soundbar, PS4, PS3. I actually have quite a few Sony products in the house, and I've used their phones. I used one of the Xperia phones, then I used another model that I think was only really released in Asia, but it's similar to the other Xperia models. They're nice. They're solid phones. They're pretty good phones. I don't think there's anything compelling about them, and they don't have the name recognition when it comes to somebody walking into a mobile store, and that's the big problem. They were probably hoping they could capitalize on their popularity of like the PlayStation and things like that, but that has not been the case.
Well, and not even that, like the thing I always thought about with Sony was cameras, mini disc players, Walkmans, but mainly cameras, and that's if they could get the recognition on their smartphone market as they got on their cameras, like they would be great. They had
Wrong answer. They got passed over.
For using good lenses and making really good, decently priced cameras. Like that Sony CyberShot 3.2 way back in the day was the best camera you could get for how much it was and what it did. Now,
now they got passed by.
Well, yeah. Now I'm just saying, like, if they could have the recognition they used to have with their cameras and their Walkmans and all that, like, they were a loved company ever since the PlayStation hacks, and like, it's been a PR nightmare ever since. And I think they're really struggling against that.
I think their camera market's doing well. I mean, they're like my wife has the Sony one of the mirrorless DSLRs. It's an excellent camera, and I don't know if you guys know Trey Ratcliffe. He's a pretty popular photographer. He loves the Sony DSLRs because they're like super thin because they don't have any of the mirrors in them. I think like Google, Jesus, I think Sony like they've been able to find at least some marginal success in all these different like markets, but for some reason they cannot crack the smartphone market.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, also, by the way, we should mention that this preview technology with a stripped-down Android experience is only in Sweden. So perhaps they are saying, okay, we're going to retreat from the North American market because we obviously haven't won there. We're going to focus on the European market. And for some reason they've picked Sweden. I don't know why, but maybe they want to become the big company in Sweden. Got me.
A good
you
test.
You still get to the website. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, Sweden's a good test bed. They're all very technological, people there. They have really great infrastructure. I don't know. If I was a tech company and I wanted to pick a country to test on, Sweden would probably be at the top of my list too.
It's possible that they just have, Sweden could be a country where they've been moderately successful in getting their hardware out there,
Also.
so it has enough users to actually do something.
And they're saying also some clarification that the stripped down version of Sony software that doesn't have Google Play apps, that's only limited to the testing phase. So it sounds like by that statement that Play will be in the end user version.
Well, it's interesting that they make that distinction because
well, it's at the very end, like they got a clarification after the fact, right? Like it's like an outline, like clarification. Here's this article was updated to let you know that. So
yeah, I wonder if they could. I wonder if it's actually limited where you can't install any of those apps. Because that's if they're trying to force a user experience to get feedback, then to me it would be like not a jailbroken, but like a handicapped or a crippled phone where you couldn't do certain things, like installing the Play Store, like installing the Amazon App Store. Because if I'm trying to get feedback, I want to be within my tightly confined set of options.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and use that segue. Speaking of crippled phones, Stephen Hawking's giving away $100 million in search for extraterrestrial life and using smartphones to do it. Are you even excited? Are you? They're using Berkeley Open Infrastructure for network computing, just like that folding at home stuff, folding proteins and all that. And it said it can be downloaded to your Android phones, and you can help power the search for alien life with your phone. So it's powered by data, Wi-Fi data, obviously not 3G or LTE. So it won't chew through your very limited amount of data bits.
Yeah, I can already feel my phone getting hot in my pocket.
Right?
Oh, contraire. Read through the article. It will not work on the phone's battery, will only work when plugged in, and will only work on Wi-Fi.
Which is
Did you just tell me to RTFA, Joey?
Who everyone charges their phones at night when you're not using it. Like, that's a prime time to suck all of that extra processing and Wi-Fi bandwidth on networks that aren't being used. That's a good idea, I think.
And by the way, I am so downloading this.
Right?
Why are they competing with SETI at Home? I thought SETI at Home already did this, and I thought it was already on mobile.
Isn't this the same group? They say it takes data from 2 massive telescopes, scan the universe for signals of alien life. You power the app, you allow the telescopes collecting data to be analyzed via crowdsourcing. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. What's the app called? It's called Boink. It's from Space Sciences, a laboratory at UC Berkeley.
It's not a good thing.
But
yeah,
see,
I'm tempted to download this on my spare phone that I have here at the house and just leave it sitting on a charger.
They're letting you in the app choose which project you want to contribute your cycles to. So, like at home, World Community Grid, Prime Grid, Enigma at home, O Project at home, the Skynet Pogs, Asteroids at home, Einstein at home, all that stuff. So that's kind of cool. I like one of the comments. It's like, why isn't this installed in everything automatically? Like, oh, I don't know. Can't just go automatically installing things on everyone's devices, I suppose.
I think that's what the aliens want.
Exactly, because that's how Skynet wants. So that's cool. They say we believe that life arose spontaneously on Earth. So in an infinite universe, there must be other occurrences of life. He says, I don't have high expectations, but the search itself will teach us quite a bit. We could find something we weren't even looking for, like a giant space bowl filled with space dicks. I wasn't looking for that. Said he wasn't looking for that. But there it is, in space, just waiting for someone to find it.
Hey, we found Pluto.
That's true.
Come on. That's still there.
Like twice, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's
very nice. I like it. I'm down with Pluto.
That's good. Will you be down with this, Eric? I need your help, as does your country, and I know you already are a fan of helping your country, so I assume you're the right person for me to come on with this. You're going to help a senator decide, a U.S. senator, iPhone or Android. Eric, go.
Oh God, is this Lindsey Graham?
It's Senator Lindsey Graham. Jitterbug. I'm gonna give him the write-in option vote, and I'm gonna say Jitterbug, sir. You need a
I say
Jitterbug.
we give him that fucking Commodore phone from last show. Yeah,
And
I don't know that I want to count you among us, Mr.
So-
whatever your name is, if I pronounce that right.
The collective Attack of the Androids community would like to recommend you use Windows Phone. We really think you're going to like what they've done with this next iteration where they've inserted all of your NSA backdoors into it. So I think you're really going to like that.
I think that would. I don't know if that would be good for the country.
No?
No. Next thing you know, there's like legislation mandating that everybody,
Everyone use Windows Phone. He's going to be like, this experience was so great. This Xperia was so great. You guys should all be using it.
That's right.
Oh, goodness.
Why doesn't Tinder work on my Windows phone?
Oh, that's awesome.
So how can we let this guy know which phone to use?
I think you can tweet him at Lindsey Graham SC on Twitter. You can just go ahead and reply him.
Is this story in the doc? I can't find it.
It is. I'm gonna throw it right here in the chat for you, so you have
I love it.
access to it.
I saw this on the news yesterday at work, and they weren't specifically talking about pick iPhone or Android. I just saw the tweet where he said, "Well, I guess I'm getting a new phone now."
Derp derp. Well, The Verge has done us all one better and has a poll here with like 4,000 votes so far. What new phone should Lindsey Graham buy? An iPhone, an Android, Windows Phone, BlackBerry, Motorola StarTAC, a carrier pigeon. I don't think that's a phone. Speaking telegraph or a Microsoft Kin.
Where's the answer for CB radio or tin cans on string?
Well, I feel like they just went one better and did carrier pigeon and speaking telegraph. I mean, that's
Is
your
cancer an option? I don't see cancer.
Speaking of tin cans on a string, New Hell on Wheels started. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but pretty exciting. Got my Western back. I'm very excited.
Oh shit! No, I have not seen that.
I'm gonna go
Does
ahead.
that mean that you're walking around your apartment wearing a 6-shooter?
Sometimes. I'm gonna vote carrier pigeon. I feel like
Good for you.
Like you could match them up with the era of their beliefs and their the way they run shit.
What about the owl from Harry Potter? Why isn't that in there?
Ooh,
I wonder if all the people that voted for BlackBerry and Windows Phone are literally just trolling this.
Yeah, you could say plus or minus literally 3,000 troll votes. Literally. Here's the so far.
I like how carrier pigeon is number 3.
Watching live at home, we have iPhone 32%, Android 28%, carrier pigeon 10%. You're welcome. Microsoft Kin right under it, 9%, followed by Windows Phone at 8%. It's going to be a toss-up between Windows Phone and the Kin.
Jesus. When your dead platform is more popular than your live platform.
I like that BlackBerry is beating Speaking Telegraph by 1%.
That's because the Speaking Telegraph doesn't exist.
My brother informs me that Speaking Telegraph is a landline phone.
Neither does BlackBerry, so very exciting. So go ahead and go there and vote. We'll put a link to it in the show notes. tagoftheandroids.com. And for those of you watching live, it's right here in the chat. Go vote. Go do that.
All right. If you guys want to know what the hell is wrong with the politics in this country, so the people that have the ability to vote on laws that affect technology are not big email users.
Not big computer users.
Listen. That's really messed up. Yes, yeah, because this links to an article, and I gotta think that these people are full of shit when they say that they've never sent an email. But yeah,
But I've dictated many to my secretary, who has sent all of them, I hope.
Exactly. He's just like, all right, Missy, get out the teletype.
Well, the problem is that you can like crowdsource stuff like that and get a quick decision, but you can't like do anything else that way in your political. Like, why don't you just handle everything that way? Here, vote on it right here. The Verge poll. You want weed legalized and gay marriage and whatever else. Verge poll, and then that'll be law. Can we do that?
I don't see why not, Matt.
Miss Graham, can we do that? Is that?
Miss Graham.
Well, yeah. What's?
It's a he.
Really?
Yeah.
With that name?
It's a flexible name.
Ooh, I don't know
He self-identifies as a man.
Lindsay. Really?
That's all cool. Yeah.
Huh.
You have to say it in a southern accent, and then it makes sense that he's a dude.
That's a stripper name or something. Lindsay Graham. Yeehaw. Pew, 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 pew. Pretty sure. Hey guys, pasties or none? What should we go with? Let's have another Verge poll. Get that on over here. I'm going high heels.
All right, fellas. Next on the Verge poll, we have Lindsay. Give it up for Lindsay.
Yeah, that's right. Stripping too. All right.
And
Hey,
for all of you who wish to complain, it is show@attackoftheandroids.com.
Now, for all of you that wish to complain about that segment, the email is gofuckyourself@android.com.
At joeykelly.com.org/. Did you
No.
Did you know your timeline in Android Maps is just out there for everyone to see? Except that it's not. It's just there for Google to see, which is kind of handy.
Yeah.
Have you watched your timeline lately? Because I have. You have a very interesting life.
The thing that bothers me about this is that it is, I mean, let's just put it in a context that hopefully none of us are in, wherein let's just say that we're the husband, boyfriend, whatever of someone, and we are obsessed with that particular person where they are all of the time. This feature could be used to literally virtually stalk someone, and I'm sure that's one of the security concerns that's being voiced. On the other hand, I have to admit there is a strong, hey, this could be really helpful vibe, wherein I forget sometimes the exact address of where I went, so I could look back and see what that address was. Not that I need to know the exact address oftentimes, but if I did, that would be kind of handy.
I mean, wouldn't it be... I've never tried this before, so I just went to the Timeline website. I just Googled Google Timeline. I mean, the very first thing it tells you is that this information is not public. So I don't really think people are going to be using it to stalk you. And if they are, I mean, they could do the same thing on Facebook. Like they could say, "Oh, you were in this country at some point." It's
information's only public if you give people your Google password, right? It's one of those fun like location or like those monthly things it gives you. It's like here's all of the things we know about you. And it's like location, email, that dashboard thing it gives you.
Yeah.
It's one.
And I will say it's not 100% accurate either.
No, it depends how you use your phone. I noticed that it's been more accurate with mine if I put my Moto X into the thing where it knows when I'm driving, because then it's forcing it to use the GPS more, and every time I think it flips the GPS on, it's reporting that. So if it's only coming on every now and again, it's not reporting it back as much. I think. I haven't tested that or anything. That's what it looked like.
My timeline thinks that I've been in Slovakia. It hasn't recorded any time that I've been in Italy. It hasn't recorded any time that I've been in Poland. Apparently, it has my current location all right, but I mean, it's not nearly as accurate as I would think, and I've used my phone a lot in these places.
Well, what's interesting is that it also says in a couple of different articles that I'm looking at on the subject that this is turned off by default. So, if you
have location tracking turned on in your Google account in the first place before, but me and Eric do, and we're talking about once it's on, sometimes it is not that accurate.
Well, yeah. What I'm getting at is that from the privacy concern standpoint,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
one of those things that you have to turn on. You have to, of course, keep your phone on you, and of course, it's going to be more accurate if you have your GPS turned on versus not. I personally, every time Google asks me if they want to continue to update my location, even if I'm not having location turned on, I hit no. That's just me.
I always like to share all that stuff with people. I like to know when Nick gets home from work. I like to know when my roommate back in Montana gets home from work. I like to know these things. I like to keep an eye on my peeps. I need to know where you guys are all at for when shit hits the fan and I need to, like, assemble everybody. Need to know.
News team, assemble.
Exactly, right? That's what I'm talking about. But, of course, being, the pretend privacy conscientious society we are, will get all up in arms about this. They're doing what? Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh.
But all the other stuff is okay.
Have people flipped out about this? I haven't. I mean, I've seen articles saying, "Hey, it's here."
Only in Germany.
Yeah, well, you can go in there and walk around a steam bath naked, but they don't want you to.
I like how this article on Computer World is done. It's all like, and here's a bunch of people that mentioned it, and here's how they've connected the dots. Okay. So not only does the feature show where you've been, it also shows what specific times you were there, and in some cases, the route you took to get there. The timeline also shows pictures that may have been taken at those locations. Weird.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's just weird that people are like, oh, I don't know. Maybe that's not weird. Brian
Not at
Fagel
all.
says, while I can see value in this for family vacations and memorable road trips, I'm sure there are locations you don't want to be reminded of. For example, Google could remind you of that trip last weekend you took down to 50th and Lincoln to buy some crack. I don't want to get reminded of that. Shit, almost got shot. I need to be reminded of that stuff. Or maybe to your prostate exam, or maybe to your funeral, or your family's funeral.
Your funeral.
Yeah.
Remember when you died?
Yeah. Well, here, let's watch it. I took the authority of setting you up a memories.
That's so tacky.
It is.
I hate it when Google creates a memory book of my funeral.
Right? It's like Mark Twain-ish. I don't like it.
It'll be even worse when Facebook starts putting that out after you've died. The second you're marked as dead, all of a sudden it plays back everything, all of your photos and captions with like this sing-songy thing and a voiceover that's a computerized version of like.
They can't shut it off as soon as it knows your heart stopped.
It starts scrolling by, and it's this really methodical, noise, and it's a voice that is like synthesized from that guy that was the background in Quantum Leap,
Iggy.
Yeah, Iggy, right?
Ziggy Azalea.
Oh, Ziggy, not Iggy, right? Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
All right, Boy Genius supporting Android M. Some small but important features you're gonna love if you ever end up getting it. Faster access to all your favorite apps, activating Google Now with your voice from the lock screen. Love that. Uninstalling apps, just getting easier. I thought if there was one thing you could do easier, it was uninstalling apps. So that's good. Customizable quick settings, and a more granular battery-saving options. Just helpful. I mean, really being helpful for.
I like that battery-saving part. I would like to have a granular control over which apps get to stay running all the time or not.
Yeah.
Just me. Hopefully, we'll see that. I mean, this is one of those things. Like you say, it's not. None of these are earth-shattering, but I mean, quite frankly. Let's look at it from the standpoint of where we've come from. We're at version 5 of Android. We've come leaps and bounds. We've got features on these things that we didn't have even 2 years ago, and we're looking at refinement at this point. Additional features, tweaks, things that we can work on. This is an example of that, and this is what we're going to start to see. In my opinion, we're going to start to see less and less radical, big fireworks going off in the background features.
It's going to mimic
more and more
with the phone releases. Basically, we were getting
right.
serious upgrades and great new features, but then once we got them all, it was like, oh, well, here, we did this thing, and now this doesn't crash, so cool.
Yeah, incremental improvements.
That's technology, right? That's how it goes, unless you're Microsoft, I guess.
Right, in which case we improve it until it breaks.
Windows 10 coming soon.
Another week.
Does that make anybody except for me feel really uncomfortable that they're like, I feel like they were given some sort of directive by Eric in the government and was like, here, we're going to need everybody to be using this because we've baked in something a little special, we think you're going to like this.
Yeah.
We're bringing
it was their version of Steve Jobs and One More Thing.
Right, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, Steve's not dead. He's been working for the government the last 4 years.
You've seen backdoors, but we have one more thing that you're going to think is really special.
We're actually getting rid of backdoors, and we're calling it the bar.
We're just calling them front doors.
Front doors. We're removing all the locks. We're basically removing all the doors. We're going open air.
It's like a cardboard box.
Forget the glass house. We're just going to throw rocks.
That's right. Do you think that there's a market or even a need for Android PCs? A great question asked by JC Torres on SlashGear, talking about the Remix, the mini. It's a Kickstarter. They did almost $600,000. They have a $50,000 goal, and that was when this was written, which was the 22nd today. So where are they at now?
9,406 backers, $651,802 pledged of the $50,000 goal, and there are 37 days to go.
And this is just an Android PC. I mean, it looks nice from. I mean, here I'll show you guys if you're watching live what at least the picture here shows. Who knows if that's what it actually is going to look like? But
well, it's actually the little hockey puck thing that you see kind of in the lower left.
Oh, so they're not filling like a whole set.
No. All it is, if you actually go to the Kickstarter, which you have to go through a couple of links on there from the SlashGear link that you posted, all it is this small little oval, vaguely oval box. Looks for those of you that are familiar with it, looks like a thin client. Honestly, it looks like a small thin client PC.
Yeah, it's the Intel.
And, yeah, and that's the thing is that to me personally, this is one of those why projects.
Because Hugh, and because the other thing that Eric has that sucks. Ooh, yeah. And because that other thing Eric has that sucks.
But my point is that I just don't understand why. What is this thing supposed to do?
Joey, Eric, listen. Android was originally conceived as a smartphone platform. Okay, in fact, you guys, listen. In fact, it would take 4 years and 3 releases later before Google would officially even support tablets. In Honeycomb, remember that? 2011. May it rest in pieces. Even today, however, Android smartphone roots can be seen and felt throughout the platform, in our pockets and in our minds. From the way apps are always full screen, to the way multitasking is handled, to the way the entire OS massages its resources. Oh yeah. So now
this isn't even truly an Android product, though. They call it Remix OS. It's a custom build of Android Lollipop. So the reason why it's a custom build, folks, is that you have to. This is an interface at its core designed for a freaking touch screen. This is an attempt to put a keyboard and a mouse on something that's designed for a touch screen.
What if I put it on my touch screen? Yeah.
Go for it. But I mean, the point of this is that what they're trying to sell you on is this idea you can take this little hockey puck sized device, plug it into a keyboard, plug it into a monitor, use your Wi-Fi, and for this 10 watts of power, give or take, yes, I know, I'm talking with my hands, Matt, shut up.
Hey, Don't tell us to shut up. We're computing.
Oh, hold on a minute. Do we all want to do that that thing from that? What was that movie? Minority Report. Let's all just Minority Report for a minute.
We were Minority Reporting, actually.
Anyway,
Reporting.
but I mean, this is a touch OS. This is built from the core up to be a touch OS, and here we are going to put a keyboard and mouse on it. And the only thing, in my opinion, that a keyboard and mouse on Android does better than the touchscreen, because I do have one thing, and that is if you're running a terminal emulator and you're running and you're remoting into a Windows server, which was designed to have a keyboard and a mouse.
I thought you were watching porn.
Nah, that has nothing to do with a keyboard and a mouse.
Okay.
Or a touchscreen. But the keyboard and the mouse work perfectly for that sort of thing, logging into a terminal server client. But aside from that, and that the only reason why that's the case is that's because you're remoting into a device that was designed to use with the keyboard and the mouse, not a touchscreen.
It's like using putty on a Droid without
exactly. You're getting into a text interface. If you're trying to hammer out lines of code, a touchscreen sucks. A physical keyboard is infinitely better and easier and more reliable.
This is going to appeal to programmers who want to write code on Android.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is that this is going to appeal to, as far as I'm concerned, no one, because this is, I mean, obviously besides the 9,000 people that have already subscribed to it, but the thing that I don't get is that this is no different than the Google Chrome OS that already exists.
I like Chrome, by the way.
So do I. I have a Chromebook. I love it. Yeah, I love my Chromebook. I really do. I have no problem with it. But that's a Google OS that already exists that could probably run on this hardware, and we don't have to rebuild something to do it. And Chrome OS has not taken off. Why? Because people don't actually want it.
They have those though. You can buy a little desktop Asus box that is a Chrome, a Chrome box.
It's called a Chrome box. Yeah. And they're not taking off. No one's buying them. They're not taking the world by storm, because most people, the entire point of a smartphone is to be able to carry it in your hand and have a computing experience as you walk around and move.
What is that? That is the biggest thing. Is huge. Sorry.
What? My Nexus 6?
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah, it's my Nexus 6 in a white case.
Large. Maybe you just have hands.
So I missed some of that. What you're saying that Chromebooks haven't taken off, or Chrome boxes haven't taken off?
Both. They're not. They have not. I mean, we don't see people walking into a Best Buy and passing all of the laptops and all of the Apple products and going, no, I want that Chromebook. It's not. It hasn't happened. It's a great platform for surfing the web. It's a great platform if you are in the Googleverse, as most of us that have Android phones are.
Not even the Googleverse, though. It's anything web browser, which is 80% of what most normal people do. It's all disposable computing. Like that's all.
It's a disposable computer. The catch is the second that you go past what you can do with the Chromebook, the second you go past web surfing, there's nothing left.
Nobody's doing that, though. Who's going past web surfing?
What are we doing?
What Matt said. We are the outliers.
I have 3 things open right now, and they are all web browser tabs, except for Cool Edit, and that's besides the point. Nobody else is doing podcasts that normal people.
Okay, fine. What I'm getting at is that photo storage, photo editing, some of that can be done on the Chromebook, some of it can't.
That is
storage.
I do all that stuff on my desktop because I can't, but then I do the rest of it on my Chromebook.
I'll be honest. Most people I know are not editing their photos. Even they're just uploading them directly to Facebook.
Macro photos of marijuana, Eric. So yeah, they're not.
Speaking as someone from the smartphone photographers online community, trust me, I'm editing my photos.
Are you taking pictures of macros of weed?
No, but we did have a macro contest that's still running this week for staying cool. So I didn't have any
smartphone for that. Have you guys done the tip about using a laser pointer lens over your smartphone lens, and it will turn it into a crazy, like, microscopic macro lens. Just try it.
It's a new one for me.
Well, there you go. There's a tip for you. Tell Ant that he can have that one with love from me. Laser pointer.
Can do.
Just the tip.
Just the tip, though.
By the way, he sends his love for not telling him that we had moved this to Wednesdays. He was actually rather miffed last week.
Oh.
If you listen to the show,
Yeah. But then again, last week's audio was pretty horrendous. Google's in a much better mood today. And we're miking you in stereo. So, all right. So to wrap this up, I'm gonna guess that this is gonna be another one where the Kickstarter masses were incorrect, and a bunch of people gave a bunch of money for another useless product.
Yep, it's dumb.
Just my guess. If you had to say, Eric and Joey, what were the 10 most addictive Android games of 2015? We're not even halfway through the year, folks, and we are already determining these things. That is how advanced our civilization is. Yeah.
I don't even know. How do you define addictive?
I don't know. I'm just going to read off this list. Have you played Atomas?
Nope.
I haven't either. Looks cool, though. Have to try it. It's a puzzle game, like Threes, but with atoms. Ooh,
That's kind of cool.
Crossy Road.
Elements.
Yeah, I'm playing that one, like, every day.
Crossy Road.
Have you played that?
I can't bring myself to do it.
Eric, I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. The next one is called Current Flow. If you ever played that, you got to supply energy to light bulbs, and then you get to take those light bulbs and smoke crack out of them. That's what makes this game addictive.
Oh, God.
Another one called Freaking Math. That's a math game. Swing Copters. Looks like Super Mario 3. Tadpole Tap. Awesome. One called Timberman. 2 dots. Ultra Flow. And then a bunch of dumb honorable mentions. So.
Timber, whatever you call it, Timberman looks actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just like the art style.
All right, so what we should do is take a couple of these each, and we will rate them on how addictive they are.
Yeah, like this is just a sad list.
Yeah.
Especially the honorable mentions, like Cut the Rope. Jesus, 2010 called it wants its fucking game back.
Hey, the droid called, and it wants its game back.
I mean, it doesn't, like, I know you hate them, but, I mean, the Telltale games, I think, are probably better games than most of these, and that came out.
Yeah. That first one looks cool. Atomos? I'll have to check that out. I don't know. I haven't really, like, installed. I couldn't even tell you what the last app I installed on my phone was. I just haven't been. Canasauce, actually. It's a weed social network. It has a pretty cool app. That was the last app I installed.
What's
I'm
it
gonna
called?
love the last one I installed.
Cannasos. Canasauce.
You're never gonna guess what the last one I installed was.
Tinder.
I don't know.
Moving on, folks.
No. I installed Monopoly, the same one I used to play on that Nook forever and ever and ever ago.
That was a fun game. That one and Uno. Those were cool games. So.
All right, so I just got link baited off of that Android list of games to another one.
Of course you did.
Apparently, Android got fined in a Canadian court for showing cleavage in a Street View picture.
Android did?
Google, excuse me. I misspoke.
I thought you meant they had the Android on the stand and he was just giving it.
No.
Sorry, man, I like boobs. What can I say?
Apparently, in 2009, the Street View car happened to take a picture of some woman who was on her steps in a low-cut shirt, bent over, and she sued Google and apparently won in a Canadian court. $2,000 because supposedly it caused her depression and emotional damage.
Because Canadians are only worth $2,000 for depression. That makes sense. They're such happy people.
Yeah, I just don't. Wow.
You know she set that shit up. She was out there like, oh, here comes the car. Boo.
Come on, $2,000 doesn't even pay her court costs.
Might in Canada.
Eh?
Are we talking dollars or... I almost said British pounds. Are we talking euros, dollars,
They,
or yen?
they paid her in maple syrup.
Gotta open the throat. Let's talk about Google's Project Fi a little bit more, and then we will have a quick discussion of the Huawei and Oppo and the onslaught of Chinese phones with backdoors, and then we're all about to be using. So, Joey, take it away.
Okay, so Project Fi, I am a few days away from hitting my month, my first month, and I have to admit, let me see, how many days am I away? I have to look now. But I am loving it, honestly. I'm 2 days away till the end of my billing cycle, and I have used 0.33 gigabytes of data to date. I'm clearly cruising for at least a $5 rebate on my data usage for using under 500 megabytes, and that's going to make this plan $24.95 a month, basically, as long as I maintain that half a gig threshold. If I exceed it, I'll be going up to a $30 a month plan, which, who cares? I mean, $30, $10 for a gig of data is not a lot these days, and I am loving it. A side benefit that I didn't actually think I would use, but I actually have found that I like, is the ability to make and answer phone calls from a PC. Didn't think I was going to like that. Didn't think I would use it. It's weird. You'll have Gmail pulled up on a computer, and all of a sudden the computer speakers will start making the same ringing sound that the phone does when it gets a phone call. And you just hit answer, and as long as you have a microphone and speakers, you're in. I like it.
Is the quality like as if you were on your phone itself, or what?
It seems to be very close. I would say it's probably identical to the quality that you would get in a voice-only Google Hangout.
Ah, that's not bad. They were, last I messed with those, they were almost getting to like the Skype quality. Almost.
Yeah, I haven't noticed any dropping. I haven't noticed any weird lag or anything. So I have no complaints. I have used it maybe half a dozen times.
Sounds like a good deal in spots that you can actually get it.
Yeah. And I am definitely loving the phone. The Google Nexus X is a wonderful piece of hardware. No complaints there. One complaint on the camera, but it's for one of those things where I would use it and basically no one else on the planet would, so not a big deal. Yeah, I'm happy with the product, and I'm happy with the plan, and as far as I'm concerned, you're not going to get a better deal anywhere, including Republic Wireless, for what you're getting. Yeah, and I loved Republic Wireless, and I had no problems with Republic Wireless. This is just better. There's nothing wrong with Republic Wireless. This is just better. My 2 cents.
Why maybe Google buys this, Republic Wireless, and then just spins it into Fi? Or spins Fi, Republic Wireless, to kind of separate it maybe eventually?
I actually kind of questioned why Fi came along after Public Wireless was out there.
You think it would have been something Google Ventures would have just been like, here's 10 mil, like...
Yeah, maybe.
Here's a guide and 10 mil and a couple engineers, and that.
Yeah. I think that the reason why that hasn't happened is that the probably Republic Wireless doesn't want it to happen, would be my guess. They're owned by bandwidth.com.
You think they've been approached?
It wouldn't surprise me, but their parent company is bandwidth.com, which is one of the really, really big VoIP and data providers for, they own the big trunk lines that go around the country. And it wouldn't surprise me if bandwidth.com said, you know what, let's try this 5% project or whatever Google used to call it, 10% project, and try to do this, and that will shift more data onto our internet pipes, and that will make our internet pipes worth more. So let's do it. And that may or may not have been the motivation, but it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that Google didn't buy them out, but I'm wondering if they didn't buy them out because they're not for sale. And this is going to be the big attempt from Google to stamp out the guys with the good idea that Google is going to be able to do better.
Well, if you think about it too, as Google tends, the more you use, like you said, their services, the better off they are as a company. So imagine if you're not only using their services, but using their service to connect to their services. Like, that's a whole nother row of signals that they have to, do their ad magic with.
And it's also one of, if not the only, no, not the only. It's one of the few non-advertising revenue streams that Google has. The only other ones that come to mind are basically sales and commissions through the Google Play Store. There really isn't anything else.
Definitely. How's your speaking of, how's your connection there, Eric? Doing okay?
Yeah, apparently some things that I thought were plugged into my UPS were not. So
yeah. No, that will happen.
Power goes off, power comes back on.
Cool.
Having a great time.
Hey, it's just another Wednesday, hump day here on Attack of the Androids. AttackTheAndroids.com. Check out Eric's show notes every week, usually the day or two before the next episode. Very brilliant. Very brilliant. I enjoy them. I wish I could afford to pay Eric to do show notes for the rest of my podcast.
Me too.
Me too. So let's talk about this. This is kind of cool. I might kind of want one if it wasn't $250. The Asus Chromebook Flip 2-in-1 convertible laptop. It's just a dumb thing that's cool, It's just one of those dumb things that are cool, man. That's all.
Why are we talking about this? According to Joey, nobody uses Chromebooks. They're terrible.
Well, I actually have there's two here, and then I bought one. It's in Montana. There's one, and there's people use Chromebooks. My mom used one. They're gonna use one down here at the shop because you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, go for it.
Doing a little network computer troubleshooting, right? And they this place, they have a server, and then they have a old Sony Vaio desktop. And apparently everyone uses the server to do all of their web surfing. And, well, I found a lot of things on there, like EXEs and things that needed to be removed. And, yeah, I thought it was interesting that, so I was like, why don't you just get a Chromebook or a Chromebox and let everyone surf on that, wipe it every night, and then lock the server down? First of all, you're running an admin, which you should never be. You should have that account separated and be using a general account, non-admin account. Like, that's just common practice. I mean, XP stays safe for years if you just run in non-admin mode.
The people not watching video cannot see my head shaking up and down like a bobblehead.
Yeah, no, you do this for a living. This is just my hobby, but like, you have to not be running in admin. As any kind of nerd that's ever used Linux, you don't run in sudo mode. Like, you have to tell it to escalate.
That's root mode, by the way.
Sudo root mode. You know what I meant.
I know what you meant, but you're wrong.
Thank you. I also just use Chromebooks, so I don't know. There is a terminal on the Chromebooks, though, which is kind of cool. So, this thing is a 10.1 1280 by 800 quad core at 1.8, 2 or 4 gigs of RAM, aluminum chassis, and Asus makes those nice chassis. I still like the Transformer Prime design, as far as that was a nice looking piece of crap. That was one shiny turd.
I wish this thing were running. I wish it had an Intel processor though.
Is it not ARM?
It's ARM. It's a Rock Chip RK3288. People are. I mean, one reviewer says that chip delivers performance on par with Intel powered devices. I don't think I've seen that be the case with any of these Chromebooks with ARM
Find
processors.
that's hard to believe, hard to choke down.
A little hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that it's got a touchscreen.
Would you?
I-
I feel like I don't know. I never want to touch my Chromebook. I don't even touch my desktop, and it's a touch screen, but it's Windows 8, so I never touch it because I have an awesome mouse.
My Chromebook is touchscreen, and I use it occasionally. It's a nice thing to have. It can be like helpful, like especially if you're looking at maps and stuff, and you're wanting to get around quickly.
Oh, I do it on the keyboard, mouse keyboard.
Yeah. I would, but it makes a lot of sense with this because you can sort of fold it into the tablet-like configuration.
For sure.
I would love to test one of these out and try it. I bought my dad and my father-in-law each a Chromebook for Christmas. So if this were out, I think I would be tempted to get this one versus the one that I had gotten them, just because I think that the versatility of being able to fold it into a tablet is
It is shiny.
All right, so I'm going to totally rock you guys' worlds for a second.
Uh-oh.
I would love this if it was running Android, not Chrome OS.
What?
Why?
It'd just be a big tablet.
But it would have a tablet with a mouse pad and a keyboard that was permanently attached.
Like an Asus.
Had to click. Okay, now that makes sense though, because I can see those things wearing out, and one wrong pull out, if you know what I mean, it'll just crack that thing right off.
Oh, I think we do know what you mean, Matt Lee.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Amazon knows what I mean. I'll tell you what.
So I don't understand why you would want it. I mean, because if you wanted an Amazon, if you wanted a shit, now you got me all messed up, Matt. If you wanted an Android app, you could use whatever that thing is to install it on the Chromebook.
Yeah, I feel like that's a kludgy way to do it, but yeah, you could.
I mean, if you had to have it, I don't know why you would.
What are you doing with this? What are you gonna expect to do on a $250? That first of all seems pricey for a Chromebook.
No, that's the regular price for most of them.
Really? I feel like mine was cheaper. I don't know.
The newer ones are running at $249. The older ones were $199, and you could usually get them for $149. But lately, the retail price is $249, and you can find them on sale for $199.
That's inflation. You know what I'd like to see on this is like a dual boot. Then, if you were gonna do that for $250, dual boot with you could have two SSDs in there. One that was just for your Chromebook because you want to have the option to power wash that thing without wiping Android. That way they're separate, they're sandboxed, whatever, physically. And then dual boot Android on the other one. At that point, then you could put an LTE chip in it if you wanted to go that route, right? Because Android would deal with that. I don't know if Chrome would. I mean, I'm sure it could, but some Chromes have the antennas in them.
The thing that I don't like about my Chromebook is that, the thing that I love about my Chromebook is that it is the lightest weight, easiest to use machine I have. There's virtually no problems with it because there's almost nothing that you can do with it except for access a web browser, which means you're within the web browser sphere. That includes all the Google documents. That includes all the web surfing that you can do, Facebook, yada, yada, yada. So I like it for its simplicity. I like it for its ease of use. And I like the keyboard. I am a keyboard person. I can type 66 words a minute. I am not that good on a touchscreen. So for me, having my Chromebook with a touchscreen is kind of like a non-issue. It's a non-starter. It doesn't make me warm and fuzzy. It also doesn't detract because I'm not going to go touch the device because I'm not expecting it to do anything. Now,
what if shaped like a cheeseburger?
Yeah, that I'd touch all day long. But if I had this one where it was a convertible, where I would flip it over and I would hide the keyboard, at that point I need to have a way of interacting with it. Touchscreen makes sense at that point, but Chrome OS was not designed with a touchscreen in mind. It was designed to be used with the keyboard and mouse. So that's why I'm...
Wasn't the Pixel was touchscreen, but yeah, the OS itself was not really designed as far as... Yeah.
Right. So what I'm getting at is that a Chromebook without a touchscreen, Chrome OS, perfect. A device like this with a touchscreen, to me, if I've already got Android apps, those make a lot more sense because I already have a suite of apps that I'm used to using. And if I can have the exact same apps on this with a touchscreen and the addition of a keyboard and mouse, now I'm super happy. And that's, by the way, one of the reasons why I really like that Asus that we both had, Matt. What was that?
Transformer Prime, yes.
Transformer Prime, right. And I kind of miss that. One of the reasons why I bought the Chromebook.
It'll be interesting to see. I do also like how the Chromebook in the File Explorer incorporates your drive into it, just like in the tree. So, like, I'm constantly editing those photos for the weed reviews on the desktop, and then I upload them all into Drive, and then I go to work. And once they're in there, after they're edited, because I can't do that obviously on my Chromebook, then I just go and copy them into my local hard drive on the Chromebook, and then put them into the thing, and then they're done. Like, it's really having it right there and not having to go to the site.
There is a Chromebook or a Chrome browser add-in for photo editing, Matt, that you might want to take a look at. It's called Polarr, P-O-L-A-R-R, and the biggest restriction I found with it is that you can't upload a full-res photo from a 13-megapixel smartphone into it. It won't take it.
Yeah, I'm shooting all these with the Canon EOS, and then I'm bringing that onto my desktop and using this screenshot program, WinSnap, to like screenshot the piece of the photo I want. Because sometimes I'm blowing them up and zooming into a section of it, rather than load the whole thing into Photoshop, which just lags. It's easier to use Windows photo thing to zoom in, cut the screenshot out, and then I bring those PNGs into Photoshop and then save for web once I'm done editing, which is usually sharpening and adjusting the colors and everything for the lighting.
This might work for you. It's free. Polarr, P-O-L-A-R-R. It is a Chrome browser add-on.
Nice. All right, we're like an hour in, but I do want to have a quick discussion about the Howie P8 Lite and the Oppo R7, and whether or not, we'll hear from Eric first, are we going to see all of these Chinese phones coming to a Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile carrier?
Maybe eventually. I don't think it's going to happen this year, personally, but who knows? I guess there's no shortage of people who want cheap phones. I still don't see the appeal. Whatever.
Joey, do you see the appeal? Now that you've stuffed your face. Sorry.
I was going to say, as I'm scarfing down my tortilla chip.
I think they're phones, and they have a good... I mean, Hugo Barra over there is doing great things, as we've seen. For is he with Howie? Or no, he's with the... what's it called? I totally can't
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi, thank you. So, another Chinese manufacturer.
In a word, I think this will happen because if we look at a parallel, sort of, we saw... I'm going to step back. In all seriousness, I'm going to make a motorcycle analogy, and I know some people are going to hate this, but in all seriousness, we started off in this country with motorcycles that were made in the U.S., and then we saw an influx of Japanese-produced motorcycles from multiple manufacturers. And then the market changed. And then now we're seeing Chinese-made, not just designed, but Chinese-made and designed motorcycles that are coming into the country, and they're starting with a small cult following.
Like Honda and Suzuki?
Those are Japanese. Those came in the 60s, largely. 60s and 70s. But now we're seeing Hyosung, Hyosung, and they're bringing in a line of all Chinese designed and made cruisers and sport bikes and whatnot. And my point is that there will always be someone out there that thinks they can do it cheaper. And if they can pull it off and do it cheaper, then they will find a market.
Then they win.
Not always.
You win
because,
capitalism at that point.
Well, yes and no.
Until people start dying on your shitty made cheap motorcycles, right?
Well, right. There's that. I mean, that's the thing, is that, we're talking about two very different things. Obviously, a cell phone is not a life, or hopefully not a death-causing instrument, potentially. I hope not, anyway.
If your Ashley Madison account got hacked and your wife finds out, it might be. You don't know.
But I mean, this is, like I say, this is a very different market. But what I'm getting at is that we're all seeing the evolution of the car and the motorcycle industry, and it's going towards more and more offshore. And the reason for that is because the offshore is able to do it cheaper and allegedly better. Again, there's a lot of debate on that, but I think at some point we're going to see, you walk into Walmart and you go to Straight Talk and you're going to have a choice of a half a dozen Chinese phones for $100, and here's the Samsung for $150, and there you go, make your choice. And a lot of people will buy the cheaper phone.
Walmart sells motorcycles?
No, I'm talking about phones.
Oh, all right, I was confused. Eric?
What?
Would you ever buy one of those motorcycles from Walmart?
I wouldn't buy much from Walmart, if anything.
Not a motorcycle, though?
Not a motorcycle. I mean, unless I was trying to kill somebody.
You wouldn't put your life in the hands of Walmart's buying power in getting you a good deal on a motorcycle?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Wouldn't think so.
Well, we'll cross that road when we come to it, I suppose.
Oh my God, Egg Foo Young on face. I just realized, I forgot. The Hyasungs are Korean, not Chinese. Whoops.
Well, that was racist.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
sorry.
In order to prevent any further racism in this show, we're going to go ahead and just call it quits right there. Eric, what is our non-racist email address, please?
If you'd like to complain about Joey's rampant racism, you can do so at show@attackoftheandroids.com.
Fantastic. Join us every week, usually at attackoftheandroids.com/live, and that's where the Hangout video will be for the week previous until Eric gets around to posting the episode the day before the next one goes live. So, hey, be grateful he's even doing it at all, because I'll tell you what, he's not getting paid shit. So, this is all a labor of love because we're that bored. So, I hope you enjoy it. We're on Stitcher, we're on iTunes. Leave us a review, we appreciate that. And, yeah, check out all of our cool stuff on the internet and our social networks and whatnot. So, thanks for listening. We'll have a great week. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.